Guys, I am here. I am here a whole week later, I think. It should be a whole week later, but without no coffee, so defeats the purpose of this entire video. I'm already messing up, aren't I? Fuck. First things first. Embarrassing stories from the office starts off in this video. We have a new intern. And for the past year, I had been wanting a new intern at my job because I was the only intern and I felt lonely. And now it's nice to have somebody to talk to. But in that process, I lost my office and therefore have to sit in kind of a more cubicle setting. And I get a little bit sad about that. But it's fine, you know. It's like you gain a companion, but you lose your home. Does that make sense? I'm being stupid, aren't I? Embarrassing story to say. I think I had recorded that video Sunday. So Monday happens, right? And it's like kind of like the first actual day of the intern now that everybody else is in the office and we've had like a whole change of mixtures and everything. She finally arrives and she sits in front of me. And everybody can see, everybody can like walk by because we don't have an office. We're just out, with desks, and it's fine. It's fine. But it all begins off with me trying to make sure I have to watch over her. And, any help that she needs, obviously I'll help her. And any help that I need, I will still ask my coworkers and everything. So it's like a whole big circle now that a new intern is here. Because I'm still new. It's been over a year that I've been working there. But I'm still new. There's a lot of things that I still don't know and I still have to get used to. But obviously I'm very great help to her, which is great. But I'm fucking stupid. Oh my fucking God. Guys. The meeting comes in, right? The meeting happens around 9:30, 9:40. Sometimes it can happen a little bit later, but it was going to happen at 9:40. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to go use the restroom. Like in my head, I didn't tell her. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go use the restroom, but by the time I get back, I'm going to make sure me and her go to the, walk towards the meeting so that we won't miss it. And just like my coworker said, I had one job. Was to make sure that I didn't lose sight of her throughout the day. Godly. The first mistake that I did was that I went to the restroom and then I came back and she wasn't there. And I assumed, I was like, oh crap, she's already going to the meeting, She was not. And it's totally fine. It's not bad there. But I see that I was walking towards the meeting conference room and my coworker, he looks and he's like, oh, okay, you guys are coming. And I'm like, yo, wait, hold on, like, where's Myra? And he's like, is she not with you? And I'm like, no, I just came from the restroom. I came back. I thought she would be with y'all. And he's like, man, you had one job. And I'm like, no, like, I know I had one job, but like, bro, I didn't know where she went. So that's not even the embarrassing part. We haven't even gotten nowhere near the embarrassing part of Monday. So then I finally get to the conference room with her. And I'm like, hey, like, sorry, I forgot to tell you, like, our meeting was, going to happen. And, I try making things things to not sound like if they're bad. But also for her to, like, know so that it won't happen again. But not that it was a bad thing that happened in the first place. Not even that serious. But that happens. And the jokes start going around about me saying that I had one job, and we're just there laughing, And then, fast forward, 2 hours later, we're gonna go to lunch, and we had all decided that we were gonna go to lunch, and go to Jake's Burgers to welcome her to her new internship, just like they did with me a year ago, and I lose track of her again right before lunch, and she had gone to the restroom again, and they were like, where is she? I'm like, I have no idea, because I didn't see, like, I like, obviously I would see if she got up and like walked, but I didn't see that with my eyes. And then they're like, man, you had one job. So I was a second, you had one job. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you know what, this can't, like, it's a joke. I'm laughing, we're all there laughing, right? I'm like, but it can't get any more embarrassing than it already is. And I was wrong. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Guys, we're all walking down from the 6th floor. I mean, like the elevator. We get down from the elevator. We're starting to walk to our cars, the garage, and she begins to walk that way as well as my supervisor, because they both parked outside. And in my head, I'm like, oh, you know what? This time I really shouldn't leave her, because then they're gonna make a joke in front of me in case she doesn't make it to the right location. Oh my god, it was so stupid. Here's what happens. Bear with me now, because here's exactly what happens. I'm like, I tell Alberto, I'm like, because Alberto kind of like, we both looked at each other like, oh, like, you should probably, I'm like, you're right, I should probably go with her just so that we can go, you know? So we get in her truck, right? And I'm already starting to doubt myself, because I knew something was going to happen. I'm like, hey, you know what? Don't go yet. Let's wait for them to leave the garage, and then we'll follow them just to make sure that we're going to the right location. I should have had someone send the right location, because I messed up big time. And I knew I was going to mess up big time. But I thought that for once, I was going to be somewhat smart of myself and actually go to the right place. First things first, do not, no one ever, oh my god. We leave lunch, we leave to go to lunch around 12. We did not get back until 2. So we took a 2-hour lunch. Hey, I don't mind it. But still, we start going. I'm like, I checked the Google Maps. I'm like, this is the closest one. I assume that we're going to go to this one. So she starts driving, right? She's driving, and I make sure like that we don't miss any turns or whatever. And as I'm going there, I'm feeling this like stomach. I'm like, you know what? Something's not feeling right. And it wasn't feeling right. And I knew something was wrong. But we finally get there, and I see that the cars aren't there. And so I call up Alejandro. I'm like, hey, are you guys like there yet or no? He's like, no, like we're 2 minutes out, but we're about to get there. I'm like, okay, we're early. And I'm still kind of having this terrible feeling. So we get down the car, and you like I said, we waited for them to leave first so that we can follow them, but we lost them on the way because it all turned into a 1 lane because there's so much construction in Dallas. And we get to this location, and I'm like, hey, Alejandro, is it the one? It's not the one in Addison, right? He's like, no, it's the one, it's like mid-lane road. And I thought he said Marshall Lane. But I asked him, I swear to God, I asked him, I'm like, it's not the one in Addison, right? I asked him that 2 times. I said, it's not the one in Addison. He's like, nah. So he thought that I said Carrollton, and I thought that he said Marshall Lane. So I stayed with Myra to the other location, waiting for a table, waiting for them to arrive, and we're sitting down. And then they call me. I'm like, you know what? We're at the wrong fucking location. And I was telling Myra too. I was like, you know what? This. And I felt so bad, bro. She already drives like way like too far just to get to the job, and I'm over here wasting her fucking gas money because I'm so fucking stupid. And I felt so bad. But the good thing was that the baking went okay last week, and she was able to take muffins to her kid and everything. So that was me repaying, you know. And the muffins were great. If I had a photo, I do have a photo. I'll show you that in a second. But the office liked my muffins. Did I win first place? No. Did I win second place? No. Did I win third place? No. I didn't win anything. But it's fine. Because I know now how to bake something. Yeah. Anyways, back to the story. I get that call and I answer. He's like, where are you at? I'm like, you know what? I think we're at the wrong location. He's like, oh my God. And guess what he said? Guess what he fucking said? He said, you had one job. I'm aware. I'm totally aware that I had one job. That was probably like the most embarrassing thing that could happen to me on any occasional Monday at work. And I felt so embarrassed. And if anything, I felt so fucking embarrassed that like the whole day, like my mind was just on the fact that I fucked up so bad. And the jokes were nonstop too. I was like, fuck. And then they still treat me like a kid. Oh my God. You know, it's fine because I am a kid. But the jokes there are pretty fucking hilarious. Because even after we were leaving, my coworker, Norman, he was like, hey, we're going to the new office, not the old one. And everybody's like, ha ha, and everybody's fucking slapping their knees and shit. And I'm just like, guys, I'm gonna tweak out. But apart from that, it was a really fun day. It was really funny. I learned my lesson. I'm never to give instructions. I suck at instructions. Guys, that's just how I am. But that's the embarrassing story of Monday. Which leads me to talk about movies of the week. Which was last week. The week before. Because today's Monday. So last week. I rewatched Moneyball. I rewatched Submarine. I rewatched Marriage Story. I rewatched Awakenings. And I saw How to Train Your Dragon. So let's talk about every single one of those movies. Moneyball is my favorite fucking movie ever, guys. One of my favorites, which means that I have to do another list because it does change very, very often. At this point, I wouldn't consider it my favorite movies of all time. And although that, I do have to make a video of music. And I'll get back to you on that, I promise. Because I got that idea very well. Anyways, it wasn't my idea. But anyways, like I said, Moneyball is probably my favorite Brad Pitt movie ever because it's so good. And it makes me love and enjoy baseball a lot more than I used to before. Because it did change the way things were. And I'm not an expert at baseball. But I would love to play baseball. I've always thought baseball was fun to play. Not always was it fun to watch. But ever since Cody ended up putting baseball every single time that I was at my sister's apartment, that's the only thing that I see now. And I'm going to have free tickets soon in July, I think. So I'll be going. Although that I did go the last couple of times. And we did not win. And that shit was a fucking embarrassing thing. Because that's also a story about the ballpark. But I'll get back to that. Moneyball is so good to me. I love the pacing. I love Jonah Hill in that movie. I feel like that's whenever Jonah Hill was actually starting to change the way he was kind of acting in certain movies. And then people started trying to take him a little bit more seriously after that. And I kind of hate how much hate he got just about being overweight and everything. And it's something that, you're going to get criticized for whatever it is that you're fucking doing in life. And it sucks. But I loved them in that movie, and I love Brad. He was amazing. They both were like really good in that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. And like, yeah, I'm a very emotional person, so I think that movie can honestly make me really really sad. It's one of my favorite good movies. That's the last time I'm saying it. Every single time that I say I like a movie, I really don't explain why or what's really good about it. I just explain how much I do love that movie, and Moneyball is for sure up there. Marriage Story. My second time rewatching it this year. Multiple times that I've seen it. Marriage Story has always been a big part of me too, especially because when you try to understand both of them at the same time, is it Nicole and Charlie? I think so. Charlie is played by Adam Driver, and Nicole is played by Scarlett Johansson. And in that movie is actually that meme where she's like dancing, where she's like... And I find that meme so funny. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I just embarrassed myself in front of all you guys, which is so fucking stupid. Another thing, one job to do. Anyways, yeah, guys, as you can see, I need my fucking coffee. It is Monday. The coffee machine at the fucking job is not working. I'm tweaking out, and I think it's, I gotta get some coffee. But anyways... Awakenings is a really good movie. One of my favorites by Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, rest in peace, who I love very much. He seems to be funny in absolutely every single fucking movie he makes. I love him. I love both of them. I remember I was a kid when I first saw Awakenings, and I was very confused as to why Robert De Niro was shaking his head a lot, and then I realized growing up that he was playing... someone with, what was that disease called? I don't know. It was somewhere around Parkinson's. It was not Parkinson's. But Robert De Niro played that character pretty well. And it's a really nice movie. It's in the perspective of both of those characters, but mainly Robin Williams' character. And what I loved the most about Moneyball was the cinematography, but what I love the most about Awakenings is probably how silent something can be, and then I think that's what I end up thinking about it the most is of course you can look at me and watch this video and feel like I'm a very loud person and all, but the voices in my head are always going to be louder than anything else that goes around in my life. And sometimes when I watch a movie that's very hectic, then I feel like my mind is finally kept at its right place. And I have a specific movie that feels like that, which is probably Saturday Night, which is a really good movie, but we're not going to talk about that. But that's a really crazy movie to pay attention to, and especially with the music and everything and the soundtrack. When everything just starts to add up, I think my head kind of slows down, and that's the way I see it. But back to Awakenings. For me, it's sad to know, of course, when life is just taken away from you in any second. And I know I kind of talked about that, like in Sound of Metal, because of how Ruben loses his hearing. But this is kind of different because for 30 years or more, or however long it is you have this disease, you're not able to move, talk, or anything. And they kept on saying that it felt like a dream. And I'm someone who's been struggling with dreams in general too, so I guess that's why I was watching that movie very, very closely. But really, to talk about it mainly, it's pretty sad when you realize that how quickly things can get quiet, and I realize that every single day. You know, sometimes, or not even sometimes, but most of the times when I'm here at home alone, I realize how quiet the house is, and I end up crying about it because I mean, of course I can invite friends over and everything, and of course I can invite my sister and all that, but it still won't change the fact that, you know, it can get pretty quiet, and that kind of bothers me. But the way I saw the movie was kind of in the same way, because Robin Williams dealt with all this noise and in a happy way, and then when he gave life back to them, where they were able to move and do all these certain things, the drug wasn't working, and they had to go back to where they were, and he lost a lot of people. He lost a lot of friends. Anyways, let's not talk about how sad that movie is. But it's a good movie. It's definitely a heartwarming movie. But yeah, that was Awakenings. That was A Marriage Story. I didn't really talk that much about Marriage Story because I love that movie. But yeah, Charlie and Nicole have to go through this, you know, divorce, and it's really nice trying to see it both ways of the story, because they're both wrong and they're both right. But it doesn't matter when you're gonna get divorced in the end, and you guys still have to be there for each other no matter what. And then knowing that the love is always gonna be there, you can't do anything about that, which is pretty sad. But for me, it's always gonna be sad to know that. I want a happy ending, and you might not get that happy ending if you know that you won't end up with a person. That's just me, though. That's just how I am. That's the way I'll always see things. Fuck. But anyways, yeah, that's it for that. I saw How to Train Your Dragon, which was honestly pretty fucking crazy. It's funny because all I can think about was making an Irish accent the entire time that I was there. Of course, I'm not so good at it right now, but sometimes it comes back to me and I sound like Conor McGregor. And honestly, that makes me laugh because I've been watching Theo Vaughn, and he's been making that Conor McGregor impression very often, which is pretty funny. But yeah, dude, holy shit. I mean, of course, it's an unrealistic movie, right? But I was watching it with Leo and Chris, and me and Leo kept on looking at each other when, like, some crazy ass shit would happen on screen. Like, when the dad was, like, punching a fucking dragon, like straight up just like uppercut and like left hook, right hook. I mean, like, how are you supposed to punch a dragon with bare hands? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, it was funny because after we had walked out, or after we had left the movie theater, I looked at Leo and I'm like, there's no greater danger than fighting a beast with bad hands. And yeah, we just laughed at that. Anyways, yeah, that movie was pretty. It was alright. The whole time I thought it was a pretty good movie. I thought I felt like they didn't make that many changes to the story, which was great. I get pissed off when they change the whole fucking story. I'm like, bro, don't. You're gonna ruin it. And they didn't. It was pretty good. It's just basically How to Train Your Dragon, but like live action, and there's no difference in that. I mean, it's just like the cartoon, but it was different. It was good. I don't know why my camera's blurry. Alright, it's fixed now. I don't know how long it was like that, guys. Sorry. But yeah, am I missing another movie? I saw Submarine. Man, don't even get me started. It's part of the fucking project too. Submarine is one of my favorite movies. I was very alone. I guess not alone, but I'm always alone. Fucking hell. I'm always alone. But I love that movie so much, guys. Submarine is a... I love movies that are just 1 hour and 30-minute movies too. But Submarine definitely put me in a place where I knew... I don't know. That you could make a biopic out of your life, even if it's stupid or miserable or dumb. You can make a pretty good story that happened within 2 weeks of your life, 1 day of your life, and it's like that's like motivation right there. Because at some point I will come out with just these small, tiny 1 minute movies, but they're gonna be worth it, you know. And even if it's not worth it, it's part of it that's gonna make, you know, doing those. Because, you know, man, fuck. How do I put this into words? You see, when I called up William and I told him, hey, William, I have an idea. And I wanted to get that idea done. And we didn't. And then fast forward, it's been over a year that I reached out to him. And I still love him for that. I still love him for actually helping me make that short film. And it happened so quick. And then, like, I look back at it and I'm like, holy shit, that was really good. I thought it was good. Yeah, go check out that video. But, yeah, Submarine definitely makes me want to make a movie, which I can one day, and I will. But I wouldn't make a movie just for wanting to make it big or anything. I would make a movie just because I know that whoever it is that I'm going to be with making that movie, it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be fun. And just having my friends being able to help me out, that's what I mainly wanted for them to do. That was the real purpose of that. People think that I really wanted to put that short film out, which I did. But most of it was knowing that I wasn't going to see them for a while again, and that I wanted to use them to have a good day. And we all did. And it was beautiful, and it was gorgeous. It was a fucking nice day. And I look back at that day every single day, and it's been 6 months, and it's about to be 7. And it's crazy. Because then in 4 months or 6 months from now, it's going to be a whole year. And then I start spiraling all over again. Anyways, that was movies of the week. Like I said, I was going to talk about a third thing, and I don't have a third thing, so I don't know. That's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I think that's it. No coffee this time, but I decided to talk with you guys, and therefore, there you have it. I guess I've been fucking with the Rubik's Cube often. This is not something to brag about. Anybody can fucking do it. But I've been so hooked on this thing. And it pisses me off because every single time that I try to solve it, I always think about my friends and I who would always bet money to see who can solve it the fastest. And it was me and Carlos and Angel. And that's all we would do in engineering. And we found every single excuse to do something but engineering in that class. And it's so funny because now I'm at an internship and we're all, you know, doing college and doing our own thing. But, like, that time went by so fast that I didn't even realize that it did. And I know I say that so often, but, like, I mean that with a genuine, like, respect. It makes me so upset knowing, like, where that time went. Because I know everybody thinks about it, but, like, I know they don't think about it the same way I do. Like, I just get so upset. I start to spiral. And in that same process, it's the reason why I got the Rubik's Cube. Because it makes me feel better, and it's, like, the only thing that I can solve in my fucking life right now. But hey, if anybody asks for a party trick, I'm gonna be like, yo, you got a Rubik's Cube? And then I'm gonna just solve it. Honestly, you would never find me at a party. I'm fucking stupid. But apart from that, I think about Carlos and Angel each time that I pick up a Rubik's Cube. And I wonder if they would still know how to solve a Rubik's Cube. But that's the reason why I got it, because I forgot how to solve a Rubik's Cube. And within the past couple of days, my parents have been asking me, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just fidgeting with my Rubik's Cube. But it's fun. It's fun, guys. I think you guys should invest in a Rubik's Cube. It really isn't that hard. It's pretty cool to you know, fidget. But it makes me feel good about myself. I have it at work sometimes when I feel like I don't know how to, like, feel. And if I start to spiral at work, which I have before, I just pull out the Rubik's Cube and then I just start fucking with it for about a good minute or so, and I feel better, you know? There's always something better to feel about, but it's just hard to get to that place, especially when you're just stressed out. And I hate feeling stressed out at work because it bothers me, because I want to do good, obviously, but it bothers me when I know that I'm upset about a million other things in my life, and when I want to do good and be great, I seem to always struggle with that. But it's alright. It's okay. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Nothing to talk about, really. But here I am. I made that video for you guys, or for myself. But, yeah, there goes, I guess I do have something to drink, but it's not coffee. It's just water. Alright, guys. Que tengan un buen día. Buenas noches. Y bye.